This video is intended for all of the steps that you need to finish after you have completed drawing the title block, adding the text. As a reminder, the Show Hide line weight toggles the button. That button toggles the line weight so you can see the line weight on and off, and your object snaps is here. So this may help you in just a minute when we move the viewport to the intersection. This is the viewport. This viewport toggles between your model area and your paper space. Another way of accessing that is clicking on Model and Paper, and that toggles it as well. And the other way is actually typing in MS and PS. Model space is activated. Paper space is now activated. This is your viewport. Your viewport needs to be on a viewport layer. So you need to assign the viewport layer. Let's look in the layer properties. Under your viewport, we've got a green viewport layer, continuous line type, 0.6, and then we have the print option. If your layer properties has been set where it's small like this, you may need to pick the right hand corner and drag that out so you can see the print option. You want to select this printer to where it turns off. That's what the red box and the line through it means. You should also do this for your construction layer at this point. Notice your def points will not print at all. So anything you draw on the def points layer, which is an AutoCAD standard layer, will not print. If you choose to move your current layers, remember you can just double click on whatever layer and that will be set for the current layer. That's what the green check indicates. So I'm going to close out of this. I'm now going to click on the viewport and I'm going to assign that to the viewport layer. So now it's green, and we can now drag the viewport to the upper right hand corner and the upper left hand corner. Okay, down here at the bottom, your viewport was probably not down this far. Okay, it was probably somewhere over here in the middle. I do not want you to bring your viewport all the way to this line right here, because later on it will be difficult picking between that top line on your title block and the actual viewport. So drop it somewhere above that. If you're having difficulties, you may want to turn off your object snap and then just drag it and then eyeball it over there. Okay, that will not print, but you do not want to have the viewport all the way touching that line right there. So I'm going to turn my object snaps back on, and that is my viewport has been set, and I have the grid on, and I can turn my snap on, and that will always be ready to go whenever I start this drawing. We'd like to come down over here onto the layout 1 now and right click on that and go to rename, and we're going to save this as A size. And let's try that again. There we go. So just type in A size, and later on we will be adding some additional title blocks to this, so we'll just keep this one set for A size. So we have our A size. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to set this up for printing. We're going to go over to the application window and we're going to go into the print. I'm not clicking here, I'm just pointing to this outside arrow, and we're going to the page setup. The page setup allows us to configure different page setups for different paper sizes and printer setups. So for this one, we're going to set this up kind of like the standard one that we've been doing. You can click on New, and I had already renamed mine, so I'm gonna call this A size again to walk you through the process. So this is A size. I'm gonna hit OK, and with that name, page setup is the name. We're going to specify the printer, and I'm going to set this one at the 5200. Letter size is default. What to plot? Let's go to window, and we want to draw just a window outside of the border. So I'm going to pick in the upper left hand corner and drag my window over here to the right. Okay, and and then center the plot. This is going to allow the whatever we have selected in the window is going to center itself on the 8.5 by 11. We're going to keep the scale 1:1. Let's do a preview to make sure the orientation is correct, and that looks good. So we're going to right click and exit, and then we're going to hit OK. So this saves it for the HP 5200, just to kind of to show you what else we could do. I could create another one. I could create another one from here, a size. And I could set this one up for my 4200 printer, so that way I could easily access a 4200. So if you have multiple printers that you're using, this is a great way to kind of keep everything set up, and you don't have to reset for each printer. And I am not seeing the HP 4200 right now. Oh well, we'll pick this one right here. This is the large format printer. Anyway, so I've got the same settings, but now my name is different, so I'm going to cancel all that. Just forget that I just did that. So right click on that. I'm going to delete that one. And while I'm here, I'll just delete this one. This is my default one. I cannot change that, so I'm going to leave it. So there's our A size page setup. So I'm going to close this. Now, when I go to print, back to your normal print button, at the top, we can click Page Setup, A size. You should see the HP 5200, the letter, the window's already been set, center the plot 1:1, hit OK, or let's always do a preview. And of course, it's exactly the same, and it's set up. So now, when you exit out of this drawing, every time you open it, it will automatically have that print set up, so you don't have to go and duplicate that process. So that's the end for that. Make sure you save your title block. Make sure you have your title block filled out as much as possible, and we will call that it. That's it.